you'd be a great connect for you guys.
Awesome. Will do.
Awesome. Got Liberty Madison hopping in here too. Awesome. So yeah, all right. I'm gonna kind of start kicking things off here. We're already a few minutes in. So I brought you all here for a reason today. I'm going to hard sell and hard pitch you on a new offer I'm putting together. Just kidding. So the purpose of this call is I realize I know so many badass people in this industry. I know a lot of people who know how to add so much value to so many others. And I'm a big believer in goodwill compounding more than anything else. So for those of you who don't actually know me personally, a lot of you do know me. For those of you who don't know, I'm Noah Friedman. I was the head of client experience at the sixth fastest growing company in the United States. I have worked with over 1,000 online coaching businesses one-on-one to scale their marketing, sales, client success, operations, fulfillment, etc. Now I run a growth partner agency with my business partner Bargov, where we scale online coaching consulting businesses. So when I say I've been there, done that, and seen pretty much almost everything you could possibly think of in this space, I truly have. So what I wanted to do is just open up a space where I have just like coached so many people, and I realized that like I feel like I haven't given back as much. I've been really focused on my personal like and professional development over the past few years, and to a point where it was almost like negligent of being able to help others. So what I wanted to do is get everybody here into this room. Now, there's some really, really impressive people. We have some 7, 8-figure entrepreneurs in here. We also have some people who are looking to start their own coaching offer, right? So what I wanted to do is get all my favorite high ticket people together in one room, invite some new people in so they can add some value as well. But what I really just want to open up a space for is for anyone to ask questions. Obviously, if I can answer that question, I'll dive into it. But we have some really, really talented people in this room, people who've worked on like investment syndications, like our buddy Paul over here. Matt and Jonathan scale SaaS companies. Justin has a really successful track record with online fitness businesses. Like I know we have Luke in here who's scaling his fitness business. We got Jonathan Gallardi. I don't know why I called you Gallardi, who is awesome. He runs a sales agency. We have a lot of sales reps in here. We got Liam, who's on a team. They process over $100 million of operational agency transactions. We have some really, really heavy hitters in this room right now. So what I want to do is just open up the floor to anybody who has questions that are high level, that are going to be relevant to the high ticket space, whether it's mindset stuff, etc. Before I do that, though, you guys see a very handsome man pinned up here with me. This is Vance. Vance is an awesome guy here. Vance and I met last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
I think it was 2 weekends ago.
2 weekends ago here in Austin. Anyone who doesn't know, I'm based in Austin, Texas. And so Vance is, so I'm actually going to give a quick shout out here to Serial Sales. If anyone knows Dylan Vergara, I know a lot of you are also here from his community. They run a sales placement agency as well too. And they also do done for you sales stuff. Really awesome guys. And so Vance is their community manager, has had a very successful track record in high ticket sales. And I know there's gonna be a lot of sales reps on here too. So what I wanted to do is just bring Vance on here because he's a really awesome, cool guy. And also wanted to, just make sure that he was also able to add value. Vance, if you want to give yourself a few minutes here to intro yourself, and then we can dive in.
Sure. So first of all, everybody, thanks for being here today. Noah and I put quite a bit of work into getting all this stuff put together. I see a lot of familiar faces and I see some unfamiliar ones too, but hopefully after today, we're all going to get to know each other a little bit better. Thanks, Kev. As he said, I do some management and coaching in the serial sales community. And to date, I've coached hundreds of high ticket sales reps, setters, and closers one-on-one. And it's just something I'm really passionate about. So during this call today, if there's anything that you have questions about in terms of that, feel free to reach out and I'll do my best to answer them to the best of my abilities. And I look forward to hearing from everybody here.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Vance. And yeah, and also too, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull people in as well. I know a lot of industry experts in here. We got Alec, who has a very successful Alec content agency. Is that correct? Mr. Peterson?
No. It's a lead generation agency.
Lead generation agency. Apologies. So we have a lot of really heavy hitters in this room here. So I'm going to be pulling people in to answer questions or add their feedback as well. This is a chance for you guys who are further along to add value to people who are maybe just starting up or who are literally peers and could potentially even be an opportunity for you to work together or something like that too. So with that said, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to allow anyone here to just raise their hand on Zoom and we're just going to dive in. There's not a super formal agenda to everything here. What I want to do is just kind of keep this flowing and keep open conversation and open questions. Final little piece of housekeeping here, as I just dropped a link down here in the chat. I'm starting just a free public Telegram group for everybody here to join into. And if you guys are, some of you are in a mastermind one, if you guys also want to join this one, it's separate in that one as well too. So cool. We got a few hands raised here. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down to joined. For some reason, it's not showing for me. There we go. All right. we're gonna start off here with Ali. So I'm gonna lower your hand and ask you to unmute your mic.
Hey, what's up, guys? I have a question for Vance, the man.
What's up, man?
Yeah, we had a great conversation over the week, that one weekend in Austin. I wanted to ask you this. What's your best advice on getting in the best possible state of mind before every call? I understand that for high ticket sales, right? If you're a closer, I think because I know every single call is an opportunity, right? But I wanted to know, like, if you notice that your state is off, what's your best advice on getting that ideal state of mind prior to every call?
I think one, that's a really good question. Two, I think it changes day to day, depending on, how you're self-regulating and taking care of yourself. Some days I just feel super locked in and I'm ready to go. And other days I really have to drag myself out of the mud, do a couple of push-ups, watch, my favorite YouTube channel, listen to something educational, listen to my favorite music, something to just get my brain working, get my blood pumping, and just get me out of what's currently happening and into a space where I can prepare for what's about to happen. So I would say to you, find something that you're passionate about or something that makes you happy and excited. Do that before you jump on a call so that you can come into a call with that sort of passion and energy and enthusiasm.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah. And just to add into that too, right? Like the biggest thing that really helps me is when you're getting into a sales call or like any sort of sales conversation, realizing that it's never actually about you, right? It's always about the prospect of the person that you're talking to. So if you go into the call, like, how do I be in the best mindset, like headspace? Like, what if I screw up? Like, what if I'm thinking about things that are distracting me? Take yourself out of the equation. You are not there to serve yourself. You are there to serve somebody else. And as serving them, you are rewarded with a commission or helping them to achieve a transformation and or both, right? Yeah. So, and Paul, I just saw that. I am actually recording this right now, so we're good. I appreciate you, Paul. We're gonna head over to you here in a second. Yeah, and getting a mini trampoline is a great way to do it. If you watch anything Tony Robbins related, Tony loves his mini trampolines. But just realizing too, again, at the end of the day, like you need to make sure that like you are there to fully serve that person. And if they are there to achieve a specific transformation, your only job there is to see, can you actually help them to achieve that specific situation? And if so, aligning them towards throughout that entire sales process. But again, like the second you start getting in your own head, like what I would always say before every sales call is I would just say like, how can I serve this person on today's call? And I would say that like a million times. And anytime I thought about anything else, I would just tell myself to shut up. I'm like, dude, shut up. That's not important. What you're thinking about is not important right now. Can you serve this person? That's why they're there. They're not there because you're in your own head, right? They're not there because you're feeling a certain way that day or you're thinking a certain thing that day. They're there because they want to be served.
Great point.
Awesome. Paul, what's going on, brother?
What up? So I'm just recognizing there's a bunch of different people here and I don't know how to do Zoom polls. So I don't have a question, but I was just going to hit like sales agency and customer service in the chat. And if people just want to like react to that, that way we know, who's here. Unless you know how to do Zoom polls.
I do not know how to do Zoom polls.
Right.
Mr. Pauly G, how do I
don't know. I'm just thinking of this, of like, if you're in sales like that, if you're agency, oh no, does it all? Yeah.
Or how about this? Just go ahead, drop your name down below, what it is you do, and give one flex stat. Like, what is one thing that you've done that's been impressive? If you guys want to do that, your name, I mean, you can already kind of see your names, but name, one flex stat, what it is you do. Appreciate that, Paul. Josh, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having us.
Good to see you, man.
So I've got a personal development coaching brand, personal brand. And the following is very general. And so I wanted to ask questions about in moving towards a high ticket offer towards business owners, which I know there are people in my audience that want that from me. One of the challenges I find is qualification that doesn't chase the people that I need away, but allows me to sort through the very large general audience that I have. Specifically, I'd say for qualification, in this case, I'd be asking about qualification through DMs, but I know you want to keep it high level. That's kind of the thing that I wanted
we
to
can go niche
about.
down too. Yeah, we'll go as specific as we need to solve the question here. So, because the more we dive into it, the more we're able to help out. So, Josh, first of all, drop a quick flex stat on your current audience size for anyone who doesn't know Josh here.
I'm 1.8 million.
1.8 million. So Josh has a very strong organic presence right now and is looking to leverage that into a high ticket offer. So, so Josh, so just like, I'm just gonna ask a few clarifying questions. So number one, like so you're asking like, how do we filter out through, like, how do you filter your audience out, like through specifically DMs? Is that what you're asking, like on how to filter like for this high ticket offer?
Yeah, so I am about to experiment with messaging. So IG polls, have you been struggling with X, right?
Yep.
And then active DM out for that. But
Sure.
95% of those people are still not going to be qualified.
Yeah. So what's
Income,
qualified to you? You said income specifically?
Yeah.
Sure. So what this comes down to is like first try to understand who your true ICP is. For anyone who doesn't know what ICP is, that stands for ideal client profile, right? So like who is that ideal person that you're trying to target, and getting like hyper clear on who that person is, right? So like if you feel like you can help 95% of your audience, but they're not in a position to like reciprocate that back, right? Like if that's the case, then like you need to be very clear on like who are these people and who actually has money to pay for a high ticket service. That's one thing that a lot of people forget about is in order to afford a high ticket service, you need to be able to afford high ticket prices, right? So you need to be able to afford, I mean, I consider anything under 3K is like mid ticket or low ticket. Anything over 3K is usually considered high ticket, right? So who are these people? Usually somebody who probably need or already has like a full-time job, somebody who owns a business, somebody who, or somebody who has like just really good credit and could get access to funding if you offer like a firm payment plans, et cetera. Those are a bit harder to do with like mindset performance offers because it's not like as much of a tangible outcome, and a lot of processors don't usually like that. But for you specifically, what I would like really focus on is like, okay, like who can I actually serve that I know has money? And even if it's like, I mean, dude, at 1 you said 1.3 or 1.6 million?
1.8.
1.8. Okay. So way to flex on me. So even at like, let's say even like 1% of that, I mean, what is that? That's still like 18,000 people potentially, right? Even if like 1% of your audience, if I did that math wrong, somebody call me out, but even at 1% of your audience, that's 18,000 people. Even if 0.01% of your audience, that's still like 1,800 people. And if 1,800 people were to pay you, like 5K each, I mean, you can do the math on that, right? So like, what I would just do is like, realize that, especially when you have a big audience and it's general, sometimes it's like, you almost get like worried to niche down. Because when you feel like if you're niching down, what you're end up doing is you're just like cutting out potential deal flow, right? Or you're or you're kind of cutting into your audience. So what I would first do is like start with like Instagram polls, right? And like maybe go through a process of like going through on Instagram, being like, hey, like, are you currently working full time? Yes. If so, answer the next question. Like if you answered yes, answer the next question, right? If you're if you're currently working full time right now, like which one of these things do you feel like is like that you're struggling with the most? And it's like, like staying focused, burnout, low energy, all the above, right? Something like that. And then from there, and again, you're getting all these poll responses. So then from there, it's like, like what, like if you could achieve one of these outcomes, which one would it be? And you can just list off the transformations, right? And then you can just list those out and then let people kind of select which transformation they'd want to achieve. And then from there, you can like then DM all those people. But then what you can also do is like a story CTA. Be like, if you answered yes to this, 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 and this, I'm hosting like a free like mini mastermind or something for these 10 people here. Or I'm going to be hosting like a custom one-on-one, like a free like high performance session for each one of these people who answer yes here. Right. And then from here, like once you get those people, now you can filter those in. And then from there, you can kind of have like you can do like a kind of a coaching session, but more of like an ICP interview where you kind of give them a direct transformation in the beginning, but then use the rest of that call to like start kind of seeding your service and go, cool. So tell me like, this right here is like a good quick solution, but like what it sounds like you truly need is like a longer term solution. Right. So like based on all that, like tell me like, what are some things that you're really struggling with? Like, beyond just like fatigue, right? Like what's actually truly causing this fatigue, right? And then from there, you can kind of start doing discovery. And then through discovery, you can then lead to like, hey man, honestly, like I feel like I'm really aligned to help you out further. Like I feel like I can really help you achieve a deeper transformation here, but it's going to require a lot more of like an intimate support and an intimate like time together and actually supporting each other. So like, is that something that you're interested in learning more about? And then from there, you can kind of transition it more into like a sales conversation. Does that make sense?
Cool. Got it.
Cool, man. Yeah. So just like start testing it out. Cause I mean, dude, even if you get like, let's say even like 10 responses. I mean, if you can get 10 people on a call, at like a 50% conversion rate, which you should be able to do with extremely warm traffic, like minimum with super warm traffic as the face of the brand themselves, and only charging like a 3 to 5K, 10, even like an 8-10K price, like I mean, that alone is a great start to a new business, right? If you charge 5K, get 10 people, that's 50K right off the bat. And then from there, what you're doing is you're finding what are the pains, desires, everything that is actually helping them to achieve like that transformation. And then you just take that information that you get from them and you just craft that into like a cold marketing message. You start testing that with like some DM ad campaigns or something. And then once you start getting traction with that, you can put that into like a more comprehensive long form / VSL video. But yeah, awesome. Looks like Alec had to hop off here. Alec, you said you had an emergency come up, dude. Hope everything's okay. Thank you, man, for hopping on, and I'll see you soon, man. So Josh, did that help answer your question? Do you have any other clarifying points on that?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Yeah, of course. And again, feel free to DM me as you have questions about that too. Josh and I had a great conversation. What is it? Yeah, okay, great advice here too. Yeah, you just like you just gotta, especially if you're like launching a new offer in the coaching space. I know some people in here who like are really impressive. I know we got Colin here. We got some like really impressive entrepreneurs or people who are starting off their coaching business. And like just realizing, dude, you just gotta kind of like fail forward. Like you just gotta launch it. You gotta put your like you just gotta pick your ICP and just obsess about getting them results. At the end of the day, the reason why we're all in this industry is because we're trying to help people achieve transformations, right? So like if you come into this industry, like this is why you see so many people, they pump up really quick, they get in crazy sales, they start flexing all their sales, and it seems like they're super impressive. But then when you actually look at the results absolutely suck, right? And they're not actually helping people. And then their their word of mouth compounds so negatively so quickly. You go to the Reddit threads, everyone talks shit about them. Nobody ends up paying them anymore, right? So like if you're going to be in the like high ticket space, just like be extremely obsessive about like helping a very specific group of people get the best possible results. Yeah, exactly. And it kills conviction if that, like, if honestly, like, and if you're like in, Kevin here is Kev's here is a closer. Like if you're a closer in a setter, you guys know this. If you're on a shitty offer, it kills your conviction to sell it. And then the CEO goes, "Why aren't you guys selling? You suck at it." And then the CEO steps in and then they start selling something they can't fulfill on. So that's a whole other rant for another day. But just realize like the best way to do it is literally find a group of people and even ask them like, "How can I help you?" Like when I built my retention offers in the past, even though I was like a retention coach, I'd literally get on those calls and just be like, "How can I help you? Like, what is the next level of transformation you're trying to achieve? And do I have the resources to help you do so? If so, awesome. If I don't, then I'm going to build those resources to continue serving you." And it's the same thing with launching a new offer too. Mr. Sam Rodriguez on here. I know you probably appreciate that little statement there. So, so Mustafa, let's head over to you, man.
Hey, Noah, nice to meet you.
Pleasure, man.
Not sure if I met you in Austin, but I met Vance. I had a question. It's kind of a crazy story.
Yeah.
I was at a cafe the last 2 weeks. I met two people, and they're looking to scale on the online space. And actually, like one wants to start up an offer, and I kind of painted a picture like sales and marketing. I can kind of figure out, and like she wants to do like empowerment for other females. So
Okay.
like more like coaching, and I'm like I kind of painted a picture that you can do like seminars with like corporations because this is like a trending thing these days.
Yep.
But like primarily, I think what I'm looking at is like growth operator, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
So
as like coming in as like a growth operator inside her business, like being somebody who kind of drives traffic and helps her land deals and all that stuff.
exactly, and kind of just structuring that, like where would I fall into place, and what would my main role be? Like I guess besides offering sales and marketing, like what would like is there like retainer involved in that, or like how do these things usually go? What would you say?
Yeah, great question. I mean, it really just depends on what makes sense for you and the business owner, right? Like, so for example, our business model, like my current growth partner agency, we do a base retainer plus a percentage of like ad revenue, right? So if we're able to like get you better results and we charge more, for like a bigger client where we might do like a partnership or a collaboration with like a sales agency, we might just do strictly rev share, right? But we're taking a large percentage of that rev share, right? Or if you're like just starting off, I mean, like it really depends on like if she's launching it, like you really need to make sure it does like make sense to do like where can you fit in? Does it make sense to even like have you as a partner? Does it make should you be a partner? Should you have like a percentage of the equity in this? Like what is the long-term vision of the business? Like how does this align with that? Right. That's what a lot of people don't like start by thinking of is like, okay, like like then next thing you know, you have somebody who's like a COO of a business, and everyone here, you probably, if you own a coaching business, you've probably done this at some point. You just hire somebody and you make them like your fractional like, or, you know, you make them like a co-CEO, or you make them like your COO, even though this person has like almost zero operational experience, right? But you did it because like they trusted in you, and you're like, oh, I'm going to, you know, be with you to the day I die, which you still can, but like you promote them too quickly. Right. So what I would ask yourself is like, what leverage do you have in the agreement? Right. Like if you are somebody who can actually drive like really good results, like if you can get her speaking on multiple stages, and on top of this, you're managing like the logistics, the back end operations of making this all happen, and she literally just needs to show up and perform, then you really are like a growth operator inside the business. Right. Like then from there, you can have it on like, honestly, that early on, if you truly, truly believe in this entrepreneur, like I would just do like, and if she doesn't have the capital to really pay you yet, I would just do like a pretty heavy split on the commissions, right? Maybe even like 30% or something like that, right? Like, but again, it depends, right? Like I don't know all the logistics and nuances of this. But what I would do is just like sit down and be like, cool, okay, so like here's the goal. Like, what is the long-term vision of this? What are we trying to build this into? Are we just going to be going out and speaking on stages just as like a part-time gig, or is this part of like a larger thing where we're like, you know, trying to start like a woman empowerment offer, right? A woman empowerment coaching offer. Are we trying to build a community from this? If is it a low ticket community? What does my compensation look like for low ticket community members? Are you responsible for the retention on those? Then you should get a percentage of that. If you're like the growth operator and you're pretty much managing the day to day, and she just needs to show up and perform, then again, you're pretty much operating and running the business. You should definitely take a percentage of overall all business. Again, as long as it relates back to you or can be attributed back to you. So in compensation, the biggest way I like to look at it is like what can be attributed back to you as a contributor to it. Right. So like if you are going to like be running everything, awesome. If you're just like cold calling people and getting her like gigs lined up, and she just goes and she speaks, and that's all you're doing, you should get like a commission. Right. Like, and again, if that's the only revenue coming through the business, that's probably in your best interest, because like the second she can't afford to pay you like some sort of retainer or something like that, then like you're pretty much screwed. Or you can just spin this into like a speaking agency, right? Like, and just like, you just like help multiple people. Like you crack the code with this one person on speaking, like on stage. And then like you said, there was two people at the cafe. Is the other person looking to do something similar?
So it's two separate times. It's funny, both of them want to start up like what is it called? Like funding for like charity work. What is the word for it?
Nonprofit.
Nonprofits, yeah. They want to start up nonprofits. And I was like, why can't you do it? Like, what's stopping you? And they just don't know how to do it, but it's fairly simple. I looked it up. But like looking into grants and like receiving grant money, because they are women, so they qualify for certain grants, and plus their ethnicity, they're people of color, so they qualify for different grants. The money is there, and one of them did organic growth in her city, but I told her, why aren't you doing it online? And I kind of showed her like the school platform, how you can have a coaching sessions every week and kind of empower other women, see what data we can get from them, and make that into another offer, right? Because you can collect more data and be like, what are you struggling with, and what can we help you with, and then kind of gather as much data as you can and use it on the market, because it's current struggles, you know, trending, whatever.
Yeah.
So I had some good conversations with them. There were two different ones. It's crazy. Just ran into them at two different times.
Yeah.
But the other offer, the other girl, she's doing something local here in the Dallas area,
Cool.
and she was doing something along the lines of like foster kids, like doing their hair and stuff. I'm like, well, look at it like this. Like if you hire a contractor, like 1099, and you actually go and do like ads, and you can ask people like, hey, if you're looking to make a difference, donate to my funding, right? And you'll see like do your ad with the kids and all this stuff. So I was just feeding her mind with ideas, like planting ideas in her head. Like you can scale yourself. You can actually start a nonprofit. That can be your main thing. And she also does like preaching on Instagram. And I think she said she grew her page within 6 months to like 80K.
Damn.
So she knows what she's doing.
Yeah, that's all. I mean, so like, it's like, I mean, I would ask yourself, like, does it, like, if you have, like, do you feel like you could streamline this process, like, for both of these people, and like just develop like one process or one system that can get both of these people like ramped up with a nonprofit? And also like, how do you profit? Because if you're trying to run a business, how do you profit if you're running a nonprofit?
Yeah.
Right. So like, so I'm just looking at the logistics on that, but I mean, dude, if you can like systematize this, and like, it sounds like you found like a niche too, like, you know, like helping like women who want to create, are they both doing women empowerment, or like, sorry, you said one's doing women empowerment, the other one's doing like, you said like haircuts and stuff like that too, but like, it's more of like services, like
a service for foster kids. And I kind of planted an idea, like, why not do events where you can like, you know, every month go to a place where you can meet these kids and give back to them in the community or something. That's primarily the nonprofit, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's not uncommon too for like nonprofit. I mean, nonprofits pay profit-based businesses for service, right? Like I know plenty of nonprofits that hire agencies just to help like scale their cause, right? So like if I were you, I would just look like how can you spin your current like service that you have into like some sort of like agency service where you help them book gigs and stuff like this too, and like you can pay like on like a per retainer basis and stuff like that too, right? So like or excuse me, per commit like a per service fee like basis or whatever, just say like a commission. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like you have a lot bigger of an opportunity than just like, again, like two things here. One, obsess about getting them results if you want to help them. And like, I guess a few things. Make sure that like you can actually obsess about getting them results and that you can. Also, to make sure that there's somebody who actually wants to get results. Like this isn't just like a dream that they're like, no, like this is a mission, right? Like I'm actually serious about accomplishing this. Like this isn't just like a side thing I want to do because I thought it would be nice or thought it'd be cool. It's like, you know, are you actually looking to do this? And like, are you looking to actually build something great from this, right? So like making sure that there is that alignment with the founder too. And then from there, to just give everything you can, crack the code for these two people, systematize that process. And then from there, you kind of like have a service where you just like help like, you know, female founded nonprofits to like push their cause to the market, like without, you know, like through speaking engagements, and like hosting live events, right? Like, so it sounds like that's something that you actually like doing too. And the fact that you thought of that, most people don't think of like, how do you bring this live or how do we bring this in person? Especially in the online space. So if you could be that, and vice versa, people who are not in the online space don't usually think of like, how do I bring this online? So it sounds like you have a pretty cool little opportunity niche there to like tap into.
I might need some services, by the way. Anyone who's in marketing, I'm gonna drop my information below, but I need someone in marketing. Sales stuff I can cover, but yeah, I'm just trying to niche it down. Like, what can we offer in terms of service to the market, and make an offer into that, and
Yeah,
just scale
be
from there.
specific down below too. Like say like, what are you looking for somebody who does like organic marketing? You're looking for somebody who does paid traffic? Like, do these people have a budget for paid traffic? Can they generate a budget for paid traffic? Like, just be specific on what, like marketing is very broad. So try to think of like, what exactly do you feel like you need assistance with, and like a marketing partner or something like that. And then from there, people can reach out and see if there's some alignment there. So that's awesome, man.
Okay, thanks, Noah. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Awesome. What other questions do we have? I don't see any other hands raised. I know some people here, we've been talking this week and that you've had some questions for me, and I said, save them for this call. And now we're on this call. So ask your questions. Braun, what's up, man? You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Going on, man? I know you and I had spoken a little bit on the boat. You started off in sales, is that correct?
I start off as a copywriter. So I start off as a part-time copywriter, full-time copywriter, written over 700 video ads, went into offer development coaching, and then went into client experience, and then sales, and then back-end sales, and then client fulfillment, running the client success team. That's kind of the trajectory of where I started.
Gotcha. Well, this will go for you or anyone who seems applicable, but like, what is a natural move up from copywriter or sales guy into something higher? Where you're still doing something like that, but you're now having more leverage or more compensation for your skill set?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, I mean, so like, let's make it I'll generalize it a bit more, but like, let's be specific to you first. Like, so where are you at right now? What are you trying to accomplish?
Sales closer, trying to move up into the management space. I feel
Sales
like,
management?
yeah, sales management or management / also in the sense of like where you can manage teams, look at call reviews, numbers and such. Okay, this person not showing, but also leading a team. So the whole management aspect.
Yeah, great question. So let me ask you, like, how are you as a closer right now? Like, what's your close percentage? Like, how good are you at follow-up? Are you like scraping the CRM to pick up deals? Like, how are you currently doing as a closer?
Yeah, doing well. In August, I was a top dog, finished with $150,000 cash collected on a $15,000 package as well too.
Nice.
Follow-ups, everything is follow-ups. I mean, again, we're selling 15K packages, so some calls made, one call closed, but the close rate that month, I believe, was 30%, 35%, give or take.
Solid. Yeah.
And then I was on an offer with Vance before that. When it was at the height, it was going well as well too. Set a few records there, so Vance as well too. We went back and forth quite literally. So I feel like got that underneath, just like having a good lead system, good marketing, and good culture. The culture is the biggest thing. That's what I like about my current team. Is the culture doesn't feel like it's work. It feels like fun.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So let me ask you, like, there was another part to that question though, like, how aggressive are you as a closer? Like, are you really good at follow-up? Are you going back through the CRM? Are you like doing everything you can to nurture and increase your show rates? Like how on top of the ball are you in those areas? Because like as a high ticket closer, if you're just getting a lot of inbound warm leads and you don't really have to do any of that, like that's great. But like at the same time too, like a manager is somebody who empowers a team to like deploy the max amount of leverage, especially in the high ticket closing space. I will say, some of you may resonate with this, some of you may not, but high ticket closers are extremely spoiled nowadays because, and you've probably seen this too with a lot of closers, is they get these super warm, piping hot
leads.
yeah, that are coming in and they're just like, hey, like I want to give you 15 or 20K, and you're like, well, it's only 15. They're like sold, right? Like they already want it, and then like somebody comes in and they're like, hey, yeah, like I have to think about it, and they're like, all right, whatever, cool, like I'll just wait, another inbound lead's going to come in tomorrow. Like, so let me ask, like, how good are you and how aggressive are you when it comes to like follow up, setting notifications for yourself, empowering other sales team members? Like, how good are you at those things?
I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd put myself at 8.5. Never a 10 because I feel like you'd always go a step further. 9 is because I could do slightly more, but last offer and this offer as well too. Again, it's mainly follow up, so getting deposits. Last offer especially, I was dealing with like senior partners and managing partners and all sorts of people in a hierarchy. Was B2B, so that required lots of follow up. So that for sure, and I was again going through the CRM, booking people as well too.
Awesome.
Even dialing people if need be. Dialing nowadays, I'll be honest, I have one of my team members here, David. He sets for me, so he does a little bit more dialing. I'll do more of like the follow up and the nurturing.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter if someone else is doing the setting. And Dave, it's good to see you, man. You know, it's okay if someone else is doing the setting. That's completely cool. Like if you have a setter and that's their role. But it doesn't give people an excuse to not follow up or be lazy. It's like, oh, the setter should be the one talking to them. So it sounds like you take accountability, which is great too. So, and David, I believe we had a conversation like pretty much almost the same exact topic here, which is really cool. So yeah, so what I wanted to quickly, all right. So the reason why I asked that, right, is like, so let me ask you real quick too. Is there an opportunity to step into a sales manager at your current company?
Does not seem so, not at the moment at least, which I don't mind because again, it's a good culture, but it's something I want to have in the back of my head as we're approaching the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. And by the way, this is great for business owners too. Like if business owners on here who have sales reps or sales team members, like this is just kind of good perspective to have as you see top performing sales reps and like taking initiative. And also, if you're a sales rep or a setter on this call, this ascension model, or no, it doesn't matter what you are, even if you're a CSM, this ascension model is relatively the same and like scaling through the org in any capacity. So the biggest thing, man, is like just taking initiative, right? Like, and what that means is like, you know, first making sure that you're doing your job better than anybody else, right? But like one thing I like to say is like the best coaches aren't the best players. Right. I would put like if you put Gronk and Bill Belichick up against each other, it's hilarious. Right. Like short pudgy dude, one's this other guy's like a 6'9" monster who drinks Monster Energy drinks before football games. Right. So like so just realizing that like, you know, to be the best like manager or leader on the team, like it doesn't mean that you have to be the best sales rep. Doesn't mean you have to be like the top performing closer, but you have to be able to lead by example. Right? Like if your close rate isn't the best, right, then you got to be taking like double the amount of calls as everybody else. And like also working to increase your damn show rate, because if not, you're just burning leads, right? So like it's like, are you somebody who's constantly improving? And how often are you supporting other members of the team? Right. So that's the biggest thing. It's like, dude, it's like start managing before you're a manager. A lot of people, what they want to do is like, give me the title, give me the pay raise, then I'll start managing. It's like, no, dude, like you start as a manager before anything. Dude, I started as a part-time copywriter, and within 3 months or within 3 years, I was now the head of client experience of the 60th fastest growing company, managing a 13-person client success team and overseeing the success of over 1,000 online coaches and consultants. Like I promise you, I was never promoted before I was already doing like that job full time anyway. Like I was literally at one part, I was literally a copy and offer coach was my official contract title, because I was literally doing 2 full-time jobs before I was even an offer coach, because I wanted to do offer coaching. I saw the clients needed it, and I just started doing offer calls. Right. So it's like, so just do the thing before you're actually that person. Right. And like sometimes too, like let's say you're really stepping up and you're like, you know, like, and you're like, hey man, like, you know, let's do some extra role play calls. And if they're like, man, like, you know, like, why you push me, man? Like, come on, don't make me do more work than I have to. Right. It's like, then calling those team members out. Like, obviously you don't want to come in too aggressively and just like start like, be like, hey, like, I'm that guy. Everyone listen to me. Like, you know, if you're not doing your calls, then you're stupid. But like, it's like, hey, like do things that like a sales manager would do. Like, hey, dude, like, let's review each other's sales calls. Right. Like, hey, if at the end of everyone's day, if anyone wants me to review a sales call and provide feedback, I'm more than happy to. right? Just start doing those things a manager would do anyway. Because like what a lot of people do is again, like they're here and they want to be here. So they want to be compensated and given this title here before they actually do that work.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
like in order to like continue to scale and increase in your current role and like grow your capacity, like if you like just start doing the work anyway, and then somebody sees that potential and they're like, dude, this guy actually has a lot of potential. They're not going to see you here. They're actually going to see you up here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then they're going to go, cool. Well, I'm going to meet you here. But like, yeah, exactly. Do the job to get the job, Carrie. That's beautiful feedback. Right. So it's like constantly doing like doing the things that a manager should be doing in order to step into that role. Again, if you're a CSM, like just like start reviewing other customer sales calls. If your other CSMs suck at Ascension, coach them on Ascension, right? Like be the performer, be the best at what you can do. And then on top of that, go above and beyond and help others. And then from here, what you get is what's called leverage. Right. And like the biggest piece of feedback I've given any person ever who's trying to grow their career, like step into a new role is like a lot of people have heard this term, but it's like become invaluable. But like in order to truly do that, you need to become invaluable. Like if we literally like if we lose how do you pronounce his name? Burhan. If we lose Burhan, we are literally like fucked. Like we literally lost the sales manager if we lose him.
Mm-hmm.
So then now you have the leverage to be like, hey, I'm a sales manager pretty much. Compensate me as the sales manager. Right. And now it's like, no, it's like, okay, well, I've already done it. I have the experience. I have the case study. And like, I'm going to take that somewhere else. And you realize like, as a closer, you're a contractor, even if you're on a salary role, like at the end of the day, like you're building your own kind of brand and you're building your own kind of case study in your own portfolio. Right. So it's like realizing that all the experience that you do only gives you more leverage, like going above and beyond only gives you more leverage in the workplace.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Samuel here too, by the way, Samuel just put down the chat. He runs, he's like they run a client success coaching offer. And like, yeah, so these guys are phenomenal. And they help build like client success systems and everything too. Yeah, exactly. So wasn't what he wrote down here in the chat, but biggest thing is like be that leader and just let people follow behind you. And the best way to be a leader is just do this shit nobody else is willing to do that. Like, the company needs to get ahead. Like, dude, if you have a fat list in the CRM of like, let's say like 100 leads that haven't been followed up with, and all these leads came in within like 72 hours, it's like, guys, what are we all doing? Like, let's all like, like during these blocks today, everyone take like 30 leads here and let's just rip the phones. Like, let's set our own calls if we need to. Or the setters are backed up, closers, your calendars are like empty. Just start ripping setter calls. Mm-hmm. Right. So then when you become that actual manager, first of all, everyone trusts you. They're all making way more money because they're already started working with you and they see how this has actually impacted their growth. And now on top of this, like they want to work with you directly. Right. So was that helpful?
100%. I think people here enjoy that as well too. Just reading through the chat. So yeah.
Of course, man. Yeah. Any question here, I'll make relevant to everybody because I want to make sure everyone walks away with some form of value with this. So awesome, man. Any other questions? Anything you want clarity on?
No. I mean, you guys are quite literally doing the job for doing the job and doing this for free. So it's much appreciated.
Yeah, man. Well, so just to kind of like give perspective here, right? Like I'm doing this for free because I like giving back, but I'm also not stupid. I know this is going to lead to more opportunity for myself, right? This will allow me to create a community, right? We have clients who need closers, right? Who need closers inside their business. I also meet a bunch of awesome closers with this. I meet people who might want to scale their coaching business when they get to a certain point. Like I stay top of mind as an agency owner. So like, I'm like, this is for free. Like I'm doing it. I'm giving as much value as I can, but it's creating leverage, right? I'm doing the job before I have the job. Right. So it's like just, I mean, I'm literally not getting paid to do this at all, but I know the compounding goodwill of this. And again, look at it internally, compounding goodwill, helping out a sales guy, like on the team, like whether or not you get paid more for it, it feels good. You helped him. And I also have that stacked on your resume. So it's like a win-win-win. Right. So like, yeah, just again, do the job before you have the job. That was a great quote. I love that.
Awesome. Thank you. Of
course, man. Yeah. David, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I really appreciate you guys for hosting this. You and Vance, you guys are dropping nothing but dimes. So I really appreciate you guys. And first and foremost, Burhan is a freaking killer, bro. Like he's a closer on the offer that I'm on right now. Kills it every single time. So I'm glad to see him in here asking questions as well. I wanted to ask, when it comes to going back in the CRM and really trying to find those old leads, whether there's somebody that no-showed or somebody that, just got lost in the pipeline, what have you guys found is the most, what's the word? Well, what have you guys found is the best method to utilize? Is it really the emailing that you guys do to get them back in, or would it be the texting? Like, what have you guys found to be the best method to get them back in?
Yeah, I'll dive in here then, Vance. I'd love your feedback too.
Sure.
Dude, phone is always best. Like if you can call or text somebody, like that's always the best. Yeah, I mean, Jonathan, actually, dude, Jonathan, get on here, unmute yourself. I'm gonna let Jonathan answer this. Jonathan owns a really awesome sales coaching and placement agency, actually very similar to Serial Sales. Jonathan, Dylan, and I are all really good friends here in Austin. So, Jonathan, I'll let you take this question, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's always different per offer, I've noticed, but one of the key things I see just works is double dialing, sometimes even triple dialing, because I found with a text, with an email, there's just so much distraction. There's so many ways they can just get to that later. But when you're calling them and you actually get them to pick up, they're feeling your energy, they're feeling your tonality. You know, you could then, even if you want to take it further, you know, you can go to the notes in the CRM and mention something about them that they spoke about. So that way they feel like, hey, this dude's not just trying to make sales, like he's really listening, he's really helping, you know, he really thinks I'm a good fit for this product. And that's kind of the thing that annoys me about some of the lazy sales reps we talked about, is a lot of them just come on like, hey, you ready to go? You're ready to get onboarded, you're ready to buy. And it's like, unless you're a really good entrepreneur, a lot of these guys joining programs, they don't necessarily love investing. Like, I love being sold. If you can solve my problem, I'll pay you the money for it. That's great. But a lot of these guys have so much fear to it, especially as there's so much competition in the market. Is this guy for real? You know, can they really get results? Can I get results if I hire such a high caliber coach? You know, it could be fear of themselves or it. So I just found getting that double dial in, getting that pickup and saying something personal to what they said on the call just really allows you to bring them in. And then just taking away the pressure off yourself after that. You know, allow yourself to say something stupid, allow yourself to just have fun with them, and you know, just don't go for the sale. Just go for where you at right now. How closer are you to getting to where you wanted to go? What's been stopping that? Building the gap, and just having a conversation with them. But double dial all day, my man.
Yep.
That's huge, man. Yeah, and also too, like that's another thing too. Like sales reps and setters, don't be lazy. Take notes in the CRM. Like if somebody's mentioned something, they're like, you know, like let's say you're a fitness offer and that person has knee pain, like mention they have knee pain. Right? Somebody's like trying to get in shape before a wedding, mention their wedding date. Like trying to get in shape before this. It's like, hey, so, you know, like February 15th is coming up. Like how close are you to hitting that goal? Right? Like, and now it's like, they see that even just that simple little thing shows that you're invested in them. Right? For that person, that like, think about from the other perspective, it's taking 5 seconds to write a note. To that person, it's literally like, oh, they're invested in me. Like they're invested in my success. They're keeping tabs on me. They're keeping track of what I'm up to. Right. And they are more bullish about me hitting my goals than even I am.
I noticed you say bullish. You have some Web3 experience?
Sorry?
I noticed you said bullish. That's like a crypto term.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. I mean, bullish, I hate to break it to you, man. Bullish has been around before crypto. it's been in the stock market forever. There's bull and bear markets, but yeah, no, I've invested in my fair share of meme coins. It's my one guilty pleasure. It's made me a good amount of money. Stupidly, this is not investment advice for anybody. Don't do it. But yeah, it's been fun. Awesome, man. Do you feel like that answered your question?
Yeah, 100% did. I know Vance. Did you have something to say as well?
No, I think what Jonathan said is perfect. Always try to get them on the phone first. It's going to be the most impact you're going to be able to make versus an email or a text. But don't discount the value of, you know, if you leave a voicemail, you double dial or triple dial, as he said, and you don't get an answer, don't write them off. Send them a text message with something relevant from the notes. Send them an email. Give them as many points of contact to get right back to you as you possibly can. And then I really do think Jonathan hit the nail on the head there. If you can get on a call with something that draws them in, and you can talk to them with conviction and empathy, like you really care about what you have to offer, and you really care about solving their problem and figuring out if you can connect those two things, you're going to have a lot more success than just getting on and trying to take money from people.
And even like you could potentially even send a meme out there, like just to be like friendly, like break the ice a little bit, not seem like, hey, I'm selling you right now, like be like, hey, I'm here to actually help you out, like as a friend, as growth partners, as anything.
Yeah.
I think that I would I'd put an umbrella over that and say, be different in a positive way, in a valuable way, because, you know, business owners, especially high level people, they're getting targeted by so many angles all the time. And most people are going to come from the same place. They're going to talk the same. They're going to ask the same questions, start checking off bullet points to try to qualify them right away and not really show them that, you know, you're an important person to me and I care about your problem. So if you can, you know, add some humor in there, if that's your style, little things to set you apart could be really valuable in the long run. And then like Burhan said, follow up, follow up, follow up. I know Burhan closed a ton of deals on the last offer that we were on together just by refusing to not stop emailing people. And he if he knew he could help them, he never stopped.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. And real quick too, just to add to that, I just want to quickly show you this right here. Vance, that was beautiful. This right here is our client center script. Like anytime, like literally the second we get a lead, they call them within like 2 to 5 minutes. And they literally text, email, and they text or they call, and then they follow up with a text, email, and voice message for 3 straight days after. Like, so day one, it's literally like they didn't answer, or they sent a text, they speed to lead, right? Within 10 to 15 minutes, absolute max, usually 2 to 5 minutes is ideal. If they answer, they go through the center script. If no, they text them with 3 texts. They send them this email. They leave this voice message. Day 2, they do the same thing. And then from there, we also follow up with text and email for the next 4 days after that. We just find the leverage like of calling those people like every single day for 7 straight days. It can either be really powerful or like depending on the offer, like sometimes you see a diminishing return on like that time invested into that. But I would even encourage for like 7 days after, literally double, triple dial them every single day. Like we have every single, like when we hold our clients accountable, they literally have to go in and like mark which day they're on with follow-up and like which texts and emails they've sent. So like, yeah, like don't get lazy with it. Like the real money's in the follow-up. So
yeah, it takes 15 seconds max to go to your Google Calendar or whatever it is and put in a 15-minute block of time before your day starts. It says, hey, call Noah. Call Noah back, call Jonathan back, call Burhan back. Hey, send a follow-up email, a follow-up text.
Yeah.
Drop it in there. It's on your calendar. You can't forget about it. It'll remind you on your phone and just do the thing.
And for those of you who are wondering, like, how do you like get ahead or how do you like grow a business and how do you do these different things? Or like, how do you go from like being a setter to being a business owner? Like, dude, nothing changes. Like I literally, I met some people at an event last week, who's a potential like massive deal. I've been like calling and texting them like the past few days. Right. It's a bit different because like the way the relationship works, but like I'm still on them. Like, hey, what's up, man? Like, you know, just like looking to circle back here. I know Monday was crazy. Hey, man, it's now Wednesday. Like, you know, have you guys given any thought to this? Hey, man, I don't want to keep blowing up your phone. I know it's Thursday now, but I just want to like, you know, like where are you guys at with this? Like we do the same shit as business owners. If anything, we just do actually way more of it, but we just get better at it. We have higher leverage with it. Right. And so it's like it doesn't change. Like literally does not change. Like Vance is still out here closing big deals and like Vance is still doing that shit too. Vance isn't just waiting for big deals to fall in his lap. Like, funny enough, my dad's best friend is the #1 like fax machine or something seller in the entire United States. He still rips his CRM to this day, and he's been doing this for like 50 years. And like just goes back and calls old leads, asks them about their kids, asks them like, you know, how that birthday went, you know, like makes a note, oh, they're having a child in 7 months, follow up in 7 months and ask them how their childbirth went or send them a gift. Like it's literally like, do not get lazy. The second you get lazy, you're just immediately going to get thrown on a shitty offer. It's as simple as that. And Jonathan knows that for a fact too. Jonathan's laughing right now because he knows exactly how that is.
Well, I think it goes back, if I may jump in, to what was said earlier. Do the job that you want to get. If you want to get the sale, put the work in. Like you said, like people get spoiled. I've been guilty of it myself, where I get a bunch of hot leads that come in and I'm closing a bunch of business and then it dries up. There's a marketing issue, payment method goes down and we don't run ads for a few days. And it's like, well, what do I do now? I could just sit around and do nothing and wait for good stuff to come back. Or I could just start ripping text, emails, and phone calls. And that's something to go back to what we talked about earlier, mindset. You really have to, you know, you got to motivate yourself to do stuff like that, because nobody likes cold calling. If you do, I'd be a little suspect, but
yeah,
get out there and just do it. Do something proactive with your time, whether it's helping your teammates or it's helping yourself or trying to help other people. Because like I said, if you do something that other people don't, it's going to set you apart, and you're going to have leverage. You're going to have a reputation, and you're going to be respected more, and you're more likely to get deals, partnerships, collaborations, whatever it is. Just, I'll wrap this up in summation with a quote that I tell a lot of people that I coach about closing or discovery. Always go one step further than you think you have to. When you ask a question and you get an answer and you think, oh, I got what I needed, take it one step deeper ask another follow-up question on that. So apply that to your work ethic, your networking, anything like that. And I think you'll be surprised at the results you get.
Yeah, that's huge, man. And like, remember too, like, what is the business owner thinking? If you're on an offer and you're like, dude, this guy actually does follow up. Like, do you know how, like, honestly, this is so, like, honestly fucked up to say, but do you know how rare it is for someone who does follow up? Like, and actually does good follow up and like uses a CRM and goes back and hits up old leads. Like, dude, if I'm a business owner and I see that you just closed a lead from like 3 weeks ago, I'm like, dude, like, I want to give you more commission just for fucking doing that. Like, you were like from a, like, think about from the business owner's perspective, like, what are they actually looking for? And again, if you're a business owner, like, you don't have no one to blame but yourself at that point, right? So one thing too, I just want to add, like, Michael, a few other points on here. Michael, everyone doesn't know Michael does fitness coaching. He helps to scale online fitness coaches. He's done like $1.5 million in sale just to like organic. So really savage guy here. And like one thing he mentioned down here is like, also if it's like through Instagram and stuff like that too, or like whether or not it's through Instagram or not, just like remembering like, okay, what is this person's goal? Like, you know, following up with like, you know, like if you make a post, or let's say you've made a post relevant to their pain, or like the business has, or like, you know, let's say you're on a coaching offer and you're like a setter, it's like literally you guys should know every single piece of content this person has posted and use that as like a library, right? Like use this library to pull that content out and be like, hey, you know, you said that like you had really bad elbow pain and like it's been keeping you from like working out. Well, like look how we rehab this person's elbow and like we're able to help them like lose weight, right? So like, you know, with that said, dude, it's like focus on what is the like what would the business owner want me to do, and like what do I actually need to do, and then like how can I also leverage things like Michael said, like resources and stuff like that. And then one thing, Liam, you have a long message here. I'm just gonna have you unmute yourself and just say what your ops perspective is here.
Sure thing. Yeah, something that we've seen on a couple of our agencies now is running follow-up or long-term nurture sequences, depending on the terminology and the time frame of them. And again, nothing beats the personal relationship, like having the call and the notes where you're referring to, as everyone's just spoken about. But once that's failed effectively, once you get to that point, to make sure you don't lose those leads, you can have automated messaging sequences. And when these are most successful is if it is a casual, hey, you didn't pick up to our call, I just really wanted to check in with you and make sure everything's going okay. Do you want to catch up at some point? Like, it doesn't need to be a formal message to really help with that disarming. But we've had it from anywhere to like, okay, every 2 days it sends out a message and an email. You want to make those timeframes slightly different so it feels human. If you get a message every 48 hours on the dot, it's going to feel like a robot sending those messages, right? So take this as like a loose rule of thumb, but having these automatic sequences that go out. And also to go with that, you can also set tasks yourself, depending on your CRM, that trigger at that same time. So, hey, this person needs a call still, so follow them back up. And that just stops you from dropping any leads. I know you mentioned before taking a note of, okay, let's follow up with this person on this date. That's a manual task route that's going to slow you down. So you can really weaponize the CRM to set those reminders for yourself by default. And hey, I missed you on this call, text message that goes out.
And if I could chime in here real quick, I wanted to show you guys something. That's my camera's off, but I don't know if you guys can see me get it on here. This right here is a sticky note I have on my monitor, and it's all the stuff that is unscalable. So it says dial previous no-shows, follow-ups, recap emails, Loom videos, and re-offers. Have it right on the top right corner of my laptop. So if you zoom out here, that's my monitor, PlayStation there, and then laptop right here. So that's, again, right here. Take a picture of that if need be. Just want to show you guys that. That's a good reminder to have. And it's there because it's in handwriting and you can't miss it.
Yeah, and that's great too. I mean, and the thing is too, it's like, and what that circles back to, man, is like these are things that just need to be done. Like, dude, like when we ran a funnel once, like, or we were running like a paid traffic funnel for like our own agency, dude, Bargov was the best appointment center I've ever seen in my life. Literally was calling leads within a minute, like literally a minute. Every single lead that came through, we were tracking it. Literally under a minute, he was calling these leads and like having great conversations and literally setting them onto a call. Like literally within a minute of them calling, like insane. We brought in a new client. Anyone who's a CSM in here, we bring on a new client, like either Bargov or I, whoever had that conversation, we pick up and literally call them within 5 minutes of them enrolling and just like introduce ourselves as a CSM, let them know we're going to walk them through the process and that we're there in their corner and that like, hey, up until the onboarding, I'm still here with you, like reassuring them that they made a good investment. Like this, the reason why business owners are better at this stuff is because they know that it needs to get done because they were in a place where it needed to be, right? But you need to have that same urgency because like the reality is if you don't do these things, you're going to suck and you're not going to be the best, right? Like, just do the things that aren't scalable and just yeah, focus on this thing. So from there, let's go over now. I feel like we hit a lot of points on this one. Let's head over now to Nick. And then from here, I know we got a lot of business owners on here. I know we just had Zach enter the room. What's up, Zach? Zach just brought on a lot of really big clients recently. Zach is a savage. Yeah, they have a really awesome, cool SaaS product that same reason why you guys keep seeing all your favorite influencers on your closed stories list. You guys can thank Zach for that. So also business owners, ask a question. We've been getting a lot of sales reps, appointment setting questions too. These are super applicable across the entire scale. But remember too, it's not just me. You also have a bunch of other 7, 8, potentially a couple of 9-figure business owners in this room. Liam, who was just speaking with a very beautiful accent. Liam is his business has processed over $100 million of transactions over the past 4 years for different businesses online. So like we have some heavy hitters in this room. So like let's go ahead and ask those questions. Let's head on over now to Nick. What's up, Nick?
What's up, guys? Thanks again for doing this. Good to see some familiar faces, new faces. So my question, maybe a couple of guys can relate to this. I'm closing for a career coaching offer right now, doing fairly well with it, consistently performing in top 3 of sales, doing the thing where it's, having the job before you're having it. So they're thinking about moving me up to manager. And it's something I would like to do, but I also ultimately want to run my own offer. And so I'm wondering, is this something that I should go in? Would that be better use of my time to go and become a manager of this team and spend more time doing that? Or just jump in and start building my own offer? And yeah, what are you guys' perspectives on that?
Yeah, great question. I can't answer that question just based off that or just for you. But what I would say is like is stepping up into a manager, is that going to expedite your learning in a way that will teach you information that you know to more successfully run your own coaching business before you launch it? Or do you feel like based on your current knowledge, and maybe, I don't know if you have money to invest in learning these different skill sets at a more expedited rate, like, are you better off just which one's a quicker time to value for like launching up the business? Right. Because like, for example, the reason why I can just like snap my fingers pretty much on a company and help it grow is because I've literally worked with over 1,000 high ticket coaches. I've been on over 6,000 or 7,000 hours of one-on-one coaching calls. So I know this shit like the back of my hand. I've used to speak directly with our director of sales every single day. Our CMO, we were running a $1.5 million a month coaching business. Like I saw how everything worked, and I talked to like most of the clients that we ever brought on. Right. So it's like, that's a reason, but at a certain point I was like, okay, my current professional and financial growth in my role, I no longer see, unless I'm literally the CEO of this business, which I don't see myself becoming, or I don't see that trajectory really for me, or if it is, it's probably another 3-5 years out. Like in that 3 or 5 years with all the skills, so I know, can I surpass that next level of growth quicker, just doing my own thing? Or should I learn some more skills from this and then leverage that to be more successful in, for example, launching my own business? So like think about it in that perspective of like, based on where you're at right now, I'll just ask you, do you believe that next level of growth will expedite you further into, or like, will that be rocket fuel that that's locked into you as you're now scaling your own business? Or is this going to be potentially hindering of your potential growth of just starting your own business?
I mean, I definitely think that I can learn a lot, and it will lead to more money, which we could mean to more money to invest in coaching and other types of marketing and that kind of stuff. But I'm also not sure if it's just worth just getting in, failing, figuring it out as I go along. If that's going to be better worth my time and ultimately prove more fruitful, because time is of the essence always. So it's just something I'm kind of playing around with right now. I mean, I really love my team and I really love what we're building. And I think that I can learn a lot from stepping into a management position. But ultimately I've got big dreams for myself. And so it's like, it's going to be managing this team. So,
I mean, I'll set some expectations, but also too, like everybody's different. Like I take a slightly more risk mitigated approach. I seem super aggressive and bullish, but I actually am pretty risk mitigated, right? Like I'm not somebody who I wouldn't just shut down everything and go on $100,000 of credit card debt to figure something out. Absolutely fucking not. I would not do that. I wouldn't do what Elon Musk did, and he asked everybody for money to borrow to I think it was launch SpaceX or Tesla. He was reaching out to friends, investors, and literally dumped all of his own personal money into this. I would probably never do that, just realistically. So everybody's different, right? If you're somebody who likes to just go all in with that hyper aggression, then dude, just start your own business and just go in on it. And you probably would have already made that decision anyway if you were that type of person. But you also have to realize as a business owner, you can't be too risk mitigated, right? At a certain point, you just kind of have to pull that trigger, because at the end of the day, as a business owner, you eat what you you eat what you kill, right? Like if you're not generating sales on your own for your own business and like generating your own leads, your own market, or your own like pipeline, your own like deals, you're going to starve, right? And you literally will go out of business. So like what I want, like, so let me ask you, like, like based on that concept there, like, where do you feel like, do you feel like you're stepping into just a role of comfort moving up and you kind of like know a lot of that stuff already and you're kind of using it to like, it's kind of like a golden handcuff that you're putting on yourself? Or do you feel like it's like, okay, like actually there are a lot of skills in there that if I take those, like I can then take those and leave and like start my own business way more successfully, way quicker, right? Like will my business get to, like, if I leave now, a year from now, my business be at if I go all into my business, will be at 100K. Or if I spend 3 months in this position, by the end of next month, like, or by the end of the next year, that business would have been at 500K because I took that extra step, right? So you kind of have to look at it as like leverage, right? Like you don't have to do this like, dude, go all in, stop being opposed, like all this crazy, like most people would tell you to do, or people are like, man, just play it safe. It's like, you just have to look at it as a game of leverage. Is being that role going to give you more resources and leverage in launching and successfully scaling a business quicker than where you're currently at right now?
Yeah, I think it's probably the latter. I'm learning so much and I'm really feeling aligned with what I'm doing. It's just like, is it worth it just to dive straight in? But I think I got my answer there. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, sometimes the answer is like, dude, if you're at that place and you're like, I don't know, you just have to pull the trigger. Like no one's gonna pull it for you. Like, dude, I have a friend, I'm not gonna call him out. He's not on this call, so I'm not gonna call him out by name. But one of the most talented closers I've ever met in my entire life. Dude's closed over $20 million of high ticket sales in the past like 2 years. And he was like, dude, I want to start a sales coaching offer. I'm like, then dude, like, do it. And like finally convinced him, like after like so much convincing, to finally like started on the side, and he closed a 10K client in the first like 3 hours of launching this business.
I love that.
And I was like, dude, like your commissions every month are what, like 15, 20K, like on average, roughly, like, cause like the offers slowed down. I'm like, dude, what are 2 clients a month? Like, and I'm like, how confident you could close at least 5? He's like, oh, super confident. I'm like, so you're already telling me you could double your salary right now, but like, you're being stupid instead. Like, it's like, dude, just get out of your own head. Like, if I could, I would literally call your boss and quit your job for you. Like, you are literally like holding yourself back right now. And he's like, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do those things. I'm like, well, then like be an entrepreneur.
Yeah. Cool. I appreciate that.
Sorry, I'm getting like a weird call on Instagram there. Sorry about that. Yeah, sorry. Did that help?
That definitely helped. Yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Perfect. Let's head on over now to, sorry, I keep getting a call on Instagram here. It is very strange. I don't know if you guys can all hear that, but it's this really weird ringtone I've never heard before in my life. Awesome. So, Carrie, what's up, man? What's your question?
Yeah, so can you guys hear me? Yeah, so my question is not necessarily more tactical, but it's, say with your employees, like you've hired, obviously you hire like people who are super sharp, but for the people who are like, man, these people, I could probably see them like coming with me for like a next business venture. What are like the key traits other than just like being good at their job, showing up, probably going above and beyond? What really separates them? Like, is it something, I'm just trying to figure out like what's, from your perspective, being in multiple businesses, what have you seen like separate those like people who are beyond just like top performing, but just like invaluable?
Yeah, I mean, Sam nailed it right on the head there. Like being super hungry all the time and wanting to continue to expand and grow. People who don't get comfortable and complacent in their current position, right? And again, it depends what you're looking for. So like, are you asking like, so just to really clarify, are you asking like, what are the traits to look for in a successful business partnership, and like what to look for in the other partner?
I'd say more so on like, say, looking for talent when you're like getting talent, because like for myself, like eventually I want to like start like my own business again. I failed like an agency before, but more so like being like an employee, I don't just want to be like average. I want to be like the next level. But obviously you have like a different perspective because you're like in the shoes of like a business owner. So other than just like say, all right, this guy does his job, he kind of like goes above and beyond. But like anything like probably like a story or like a key person, they like, man, this person like really showed like this is somebody I would like want at my company.
Yeah, great question, man. So like constant hunger for growth, like Sam, you really nailed it with that. Like that's like probably the biggest thing. It's like, do they want more growth? Like it's very easy to find employees who are complacent or just underperforming. Like that is so easy to find. Like it's actually annoyingly easy to find, especially as somebody who hires people. right? Like I can't tell you the amount of times I've hired sales reps or setters and I'm like, hey man, like you said you're going to do your calls today at like 9 a.m. It's 11 o'clock. Where are they? And then they just like don't respond. They start like tagging in Slack, like, oh, call this person. I'm like, hey, that didn't answer my question. When were you supposed to start calling? When did you start? Oh, after this message. Why didn't you start at the time you said you were going to? Right. So like it's so easy to find people who are underperformers. Right. So like, but like the biggest thing is like, are they somebody who's like is willing to take initiative and just like do scary shit that's really scary to them, but like they do it because they know there's another level of growth on the other side for them and for the business. So that's a really big thing I look for. And also too, like, and business owners, like I'm gonna have some of you guys unmute your mics here in a moment. A lot of you guys have made way more hires than even I have. Yeah. So yeah, Lamb, great point here. Lamb, I'm gonna have you unmute yourself and just say that in a minute too. You're writing beautiful novels in the chat, and I want to make sure you can share them with the rest of us. So with that said, like being like a high performer, like is really, and like that person that you want, like also a big thing is like how alignment, like at the end of the day, dude, the biggest thing is like culture and alignment. And if your culture and alignment is like focused around like being ethical, like serving a certain group of people, and on top of that, it's like a culture of like, let's get shit done. Like, and you find somebody who fits that, like that's pretty much like, that's the easiest way to answer that question, right? If they're like super aligned, if they're like, if you're like, dude, this person really does care about everything, like all the transformation that we can have, or how we can help people, and like they are very much in alignment with that vision, then like you should totally like consider that person regardless. And then from there, if they are somebody who's like hungry, I want growth, I want opportunity, like, dude, I don't care if you're the best appointment setter, if like you're also, oh, here's the other biggest thing, if you're super coachable. Right. If you're like not the best appointment setter, but you're like, dude, I'll make like 200 calls a day. I don't give a shit. Like, I'll just do it. I'm like, hell yeah, man. All right, cool. Like, are you coachable? Hey, implement this feedback I just gave you. You did it, dude. You're about to print money. Like, it's that simple, right? Like, just being somebody who's super coachable, somebody though who can also think for themselves, not somebody who just like takes everything you say as gospel. Yeah, mission, vision, purpose. Yeah, aligning with the company's values, the major whys, and deep drive to help others. Colin, great, and Colin, good to see you on here, man. Guys, I'm gonna have some of you business owners unmute yourself here and just add if everyone wants to give, like, you have a bunch of business owners, I'm gonna have everybody here contribute. If you own a business, unmute yourself here, and you got like 30 seconds to a minute to add your powerful value here. Or if you're like somebody who hires, if you're a hiring manager, well, you might not own your business right now, but damn, I know you know how to hire. Sam, you as well too, man. So I'm gonna let you guys unmute yourselves and just kind of dive in here. Who's first?
I'll go. I'll go real quick. I don't have a ton of experience in hiring, but one thing that has separated the A players from like the B and C and D players is like they will find, like, you'll give them tasks and then they'll go out of their way above and beyond to find other problems and solve them before you even identify that problem. Right. So like if you are a setter and maybe, and like this is just an example, but like you're a setter and maybe like the system that you're using to track is like there's a problem. Maybe you go out of your way and find a solution on how to solve that problem. You go to the business owner, hey, not only did I complete my calls, but I noticed it's been really hard to track this one thing. I went out and found these 3 plugins or these 3 softwares that might be able to solve that. Like me as a business owner, dude, that helps so much because that way I don't always have to be the solution seeker and like find the problems and identify the solutions. That's a huge thing for A players for me.
Brilliant, man. That is so powerful. Yeah. Zach, if you haven't hired a lot of people, you're going to do fine when you go to hire. And everyone doesn't know Zach is a savage too. Again, blame Zach for all those your favorite influencers, close friends stories spamming you on top of the story bar there. Zach is a savage, super, super cool guy. Definitely connect to them after this. Who's next? Lamb, I think you were next.
Sure. Yeah, I'll speak. To be honest, I think Cullen's hit the nail on the head with his message. That's far more concise and a better way of putting it than what I had. But for me, as well as being a growth-oriented individual, someone that is aligned on the values and the vision of what you're trying to build, that will really help with their buy-in and the kind of effort and energy they put into it. If they're growth-oriented but don't believe in the vision, it's just not going to work out. So having all 3 of those is absolutely huge. And more so on the how do you find the talent front is network and reaching out to people that you know and getting referrals. That is far more powerful than just going through job boards, etc. You can find quality individuals through that, but it's the same as going through cold leads versus warm leads, right? Go through the network that you've got, go through referrals, you'll find far better individuals and you get the testimonial then of someone that you already trust.
Yep. Beautiful, man. Colin, did you also want to add on top of that too? I know you had a beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Good evening. Good evening. Yeah, if I lose you, I just went through a crazy storm here in Florida, so my connection drops. I'm in the car driving back to the hotel. Hope everybody's having an amazing. Yeah, hope everybody first off is having an amazing time on this call. I apologize hopping in a little late. Had to get a connection here, a cell connection. But good evening to the gentlemen and I believe a few ladies that are on the call as well. Been fortunate to know Noah for a little while now. Amazing guy. So big, appreciation to you for putting on the call. And then, been fortunate to do some cool things with cool people in high ticket sales and the marketing and SaaS world before it was cool, kind of a dinosaur. And the one thing that my biggest takeaway over the last 20 years of evolving in life and business and building relationship capital, my best contribution, my opportunity to do more for this world and myself and make a bunch of money in the process is always finding people that are genuinely excited and really, really give a fuck about showing up and really have the motivation and the inspiration and the why. So, yes, you want people that can do the task. Yes, you want people that are experienced and understand the position and the vernacular and the vocabulary and the empathy and the understanding of, what to do, how to do it, and why to do it. But I would definitely trade some of that to one of the gentlemen said, I would definitely trade part of that if that person is looking to really go all in and do more than just the job description or the scope. And so I'm always looking for people, especially in clients, partnerships, referral partners, strategic partnerships, business partners, regardless of the person or the type of deal. I'm always looking for, what do you have to risk, right? I want people that have a high tolerance for risk, but I also want people that are willing to put it on the table and risk it because they believe in themselves. You have to have the emotional availability and you have to have the self-confidence to show up, right? No matter what happens or how it happens. So I would say it's really just a character builder. You're going to find people when they're down, you're going to find people when they're up. But, I've had a lot and I've had nothing. And I can really proudly say, regardless of the emotional things we go through as human beings, the biggest thing that I've learned is the relationship capital and how you leverage that. So don't be afraid to leverage people. Don't be afraid to train people. Don't be afraid to invest in building a team process and system before you go and buy that watch or that car for the first time, right? Because that car and that watch is not going to do anything for you, right? Invest in you, invest in your team, and yeah, man, go out and make it happen.
Appreciate it, man.
Love it.
Beautiful words from our boy Colin here. Yeah, anyone who doesn't know Colin too, Colin is, like he mentioned, an impressive dinosaur in the space. He's done quite a bit. He's worked with some major celebrities in the background as well too. Really, really cool guy. Yeah, so Colin came in here not with just the business advice, but the life advice. So everybody take note on that. Awesome. So let's head on over to any other business owners on here that want to give any last minute feedback on this. I think this is super valuable because, again, it's literally showing employees what business owners are looking for and vice versa. Like for business owners, this is what's going on in your employees' heads, right? Or at least your high performing employees. So give them these opportunities as you see fit. Any other final thoughts here from any business owners in here? All right. Well, that's it, dude. I hope that answered your question, Carrie. I think we got quite a bit of feedback on that.
More than answered the question, because I'd say everybody had like a different spin on it, where somewhat tactical, but some of it you could feel was coming from the heart, just straight passion. Like, so it's like I felt it on like all levels. So I appreciate everybody.
Yeah, of course. And realize too, like, I think I can speak for all of us business owners. Like, we all completely agree on everything everyone else said. Right. So just like realizing like that perspective, like we all, like all those things are so important and crucial to that. Awesome. Who else has a question here? Business owners. I'm going to call on you guys. Which one of you, I want a question from somebody in here that owns a business, and I'll have some other business owners to hot seat you real quick. I know none of us business owners like to be hot seated. I know we all like to be perfect in our little bubble. But after joining a mastermind the other day with somebody who's way further ahead than me, he made me feel like a little bitch for about 30 minutes on a call the other day. So I know every single one of us likes to be hot seated. Everyone hates it, but you appreciate it after. So business owners, what questions we have? Come on, I see you all. I know which one of you guys own businesses. Don't bullshit me. I'm gonna call all. I'm gonna have every single one of you ask a question then here in a minute. If you drop off the call, I know you. I'm just gonna call you. Here, I'm gonna pick on somebody. You guys have all contributed. Matt Tigwell, go ahead and unmute yourself if you're on here.
Yeah, let's go.
All right.
Any advice for testing new offers? So right now we're trying to niche down, test a few different angles, and what we're doing is cold email and ads because we have an idea on messaging. But any other advice past that for testing a new offer?
Dude, you had that question cocked and loaded. What were you waiting on, my guy? That was beautifully delivered. Cool. Awesome. So yeah, I can answer that, but you and me had a beautiful lunch the other day and talked all about all this. So I'm gonna stay quiet here for a minute. Business owners, let's have you step in here. All right, I'm gonna call on a business owner now. Let's see. Justin, give your feedback here.
I mean, I don't know if I'm the best guy for this, right? So for me, basically everything I've done historically, this call's been nice for me to listen in on a bunch of stuff because I've basically built all my businesses organically, except with the exception of the Amazon supplement company. But everything I did with my first supplement company and all my coaching stuff has been organic. So for me, anytime I need to test something new, I do it in like my diehard community. So I have like a 12,000 person Facebook group. That's probably the best place for me to test anything. It's like a private Facebook group, which is really easy. I can put up polls or I can like, you know, and then I have my group coaching program so I can drop it in there. So I'll just tend to run things by people who've already bought from me. So I'm just now learning about paid traffic. So I wouldn't know anything about testing things paid, but I would love to learn from someone who has a lot of experience in that.
For sure. Justin, you should hit up Bargov, my business partner. He can jam out with you on all things paid. That's
I would love that. Yeah, that's definitely been my biggest struggle is like just trying to learn how to scale paid. Organic is great, but it's like 100% everything is on me to make organic work. So just trying to find.
You have a $2,500 offer, right?
Yeah, right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so-
have higher ticket offers, but that's the one I'm trying to scale is the group coaching, so I can do one-to-many instead of one-to-one.
Yeah, 2,500 is just notoriously like that's a hard price point to scale to paid. Like even any client that we've ever worked with who has a $2,500 price point, we've always just looked at ways to continuously increase the value and increase the price on that. We can gem on that later too.
Cool.
Yeah, like, but dude, hit up Bargov. He's in that group, like the group that you're in. Just tag him and his big dude. Let me pick your brain on marketing stuff. He'll be more than happy to. And also cool. There's a cool little side note here. I'm just gonna add. This is something that I actually encourage everyone to do. This is like for all business owners. Me and my business partner do what we call goodwill sessions. And if you have a business partner, we actually have an agreement where we're allowed to delegate the other person to go help somebody else out, like completely free, just like go do it. Because it allows us to compound goodwill quicker together. So it's like two brains being able to add value to as many people as possible. It's just a cool little thing that we do. Justin, I know you can even do that with your life partner, even because you have a very, everybody doesn't know, I don't want to spoil or, put any info out there on your life partner, but she's a badass entrepreneur. Get her on this call next time, and I think that she could add a lot of value in here too.
Yeah. If anybody ever wants to chat, something that I coach masculine feminine dynamics in relationships, especially for male entrepreneurs. Because if you ever want to have an experience, have a 9-figure founder as your partner. It's just very fun.
Yeah, Justin's partner is a 9-figure founder. So absolutely
with zero outside capital ever from beginning to end. It's fucking mental, crazy. But
that's crazy. Yeah. That's so impressive. Yeah. So Matt, I mean, Justin, I think that brings up a good point on how to validate it. Matt, like I wouldn't start trying to go to like paid right away unless, I mean, we've talked like if you have capital and you're like, okay, what's comfortable CAC that we could have, a customer acquisition cost in order to bring somebody in, CAC better than probably most people here because you're a SaaS guy. But if you have a comfortable CAC for paid and you're willing to, and you have that budget to test and go over that CAC a bit to see like, are you able to acquire through paid? Then go for it. But like, I usually don't recommend going to paid, especially for the ticket of your offer. You'd probably need to spend at least 5 to 10K just to validate it to paid. And that's like money out the door just to maybe acquire somebody or just say, hey, this actually is not working. Right. So I would be a bit careful to go straight to paid. But what I would do, man, is just like first, so one thing that we do, and I'll send, hit me up after this, I'll send you some resources. But we do what we call ICP interviews. So you interview your ICP. And you literally get like 10 people who you feel like this would be the best service for. And you literally walk them through what you're thinking. You have them literally tear the offer apart. and just be like, hey, I just really want your feedback on this. Like, this is not a sales call. I just really want you to help us put together something that can actually transform people's businesses. And through this process of them literally building it, they're going to get excited about it. Right. So like, it's kind of like there's an old saying like the VC space, like if you want advice, ask for money. If you want money, ask for advice. Right. So like, so go and have them tear it apart and be like, cool. Like, so after everything we just went through, like based on this offer and like the structure of this, do you see like how this could actually help like other SaaS businesses to like scale past 1 million, et cetera? Yeah, actually, yeah, this is like killer. Be like, cool. Yeah. So, I mean, like, let me ask like, for your business, like, do you see in any way how this could be potentially be applicable for yours too? Like, do you feel like this could actually help yours? Yeah, no, I could see that. Cool. I mean, dude, if you wanted to, I'd be, like, first of all, I appreciate you doing this. And as part of this, like, we're obviously gonna be opening up a beta for this offer. So if you're open to it, like I would love to hop on like a separate call, not this one, because this one I just really appreciate your value. Unless you have time, you want to talk about it now, but like I'd absolutely love to, like if you wanted to hop on a call and just like also kind of like if you wanted to move forward with this, give you like a special rate as a beta client, and just so you can test out this offer and see how it works, and just give you a really good rate. Because like if you feel like this can really help you, and it seems like it can, because pretty much catered it for you, yeah, I'd love to see if this could actually help you out. Is that something you're open to? And most of the time they're going to say, yeah, like very rarely make, oh, I don't know. Like, it's like you just literally made their perfect offer with them.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that frame too. Like the interview frame, not sales frame at all to structure. And then they like set up their own offer almost.
Exactly. And now you get this feedback from all these people. They make your offer way better too. Like all the shit that you thought was important. Like, dude, for my last coaching offer, it's like a 24K client success coaching offer, 6-month program. At the end of the program, dude, it was all about client retention. And like, I literally broke my own rule for building my own backend offer. It was stupid, right? I literally went in, I was like, yeah, so like, here's a sick offer. I spent the past 3 weeks brainstorming it. It's like a co-CEO. We're going to be helping you with this. And like, everyone looked at it like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's valuable. I was like, what? I put 3 weeks of my beautiful brain juices into this thing. I'm so smart. I've helped so many offers. I'm like, why don't you love this? I broke my rule. I would have got on the call and like, not out of almost kind of desperate. I'm like, dude, like, what is it that you guys need? Like, you guys are all my clients. You're all graduating and I want to keep serving you. Like, what the hell do you guys need? They're like, well, we want to scale. I was like, oh, this is all like operations and like maintenance stuff. Like, you guys want to, okay. So like, what does that look like? Well, I don't know. I want to do really good with paid traffic. Oh, yeah. So like, if I could build out like a paid traffic system and like help support you with that, that'd be something you're interested in. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I already trust you. I know you deliver good results. Cool. Literally within 3 days, I found a marketing partner, brought him on board. And I'm like, cool, we offer agency services now. And they're all like, sweet, that sounds good. Then we started working with them. And like, we still have some of those clients literally from like last November to today who like signed on and they're like literally still with us because they're like, this is great. I love this service. Right. Because I literally said, like, what is it that you guys actually need? And they just told me. So I was completely off. So like when you go to validate an offer, realize like it's not about you. It's the same thing that you teach in SaaS, dude. I mean, like SaaS specifically, like when you're going to launch a SaaS product, it's all about market research. It's all about customer discovery, right? Like mapping out beautiful customer journeys that like are super easily streamlined for onboarding and all this stuff. And that's what you guys teach too. So it's like, do like same thing, just get them on a call, get customer feedback, go through some ICP interviews, and then literally just like align it towards a potential sales conversation for the next one. Give the first 10 people that came through a discounted rate. Doesn't need to be anything crazy. And then from there, like you're pretty much set.
Awesome. Thanks, man. And thanks, Justin. Justin would love to connect with you at some point on building that organic following too.
Sure. Yeah. That sounds great. The organic piece is great. Has been the easy part. Yeah, honestly, it's believe it or not, it's just like we kind of cracked the code on it. But yeah, no, if you have a second, I know we got like just a couple minutes here, but this is kind of something that I have bounced around my head now that I'm thinking about it, is like because of this, right? Like the thing that I really nailed over the last couple of years is organic and building community, right? Like I build really, really strong communities. Like people have my logo tattooed on them, like no joke. So really, really, really powerful communities, right? But now that I'm here, like even on calls like this, the thing I struggle with, and honestly, like Dan Martell's stuff really kind of saved me here when I finally started like outsourcing day-to-day stuff. Like we have like a house manager now, and like our meals are cooked for us, and my inbox is managed, and my calendars and all that kind of stuff has been super helpful for me. Because from the beginning, doing it all organically, I learned everything, did everything myself, and duct taped everything together. From like building funnels to podcast editing, everything in between, literally everything. And now I'm in this place here where I'm trying to like catch up and learn marketing at the levels that you guys understand it. And I have obviously Brandon Noah, who you asked me about, my CMO now, who's been amazing. We're currently onboarding a new sales team that I had started that process before I ended up in the Telegram group and everything. So my new sales guy should be dialing out starting tomorrow, hopefully. But there was someone talking earlier about working with an influencer that they believe in, right? So I'm in a place where I have about 650,000 followers across all platforms, like giant email lists, the private Facebook group I told you guys about. And I'm trying to sort out like how much should my hands and my mind be in this, like managing the sales guys and the processes, making sure they do end of day reports and these kinds of things. It's like for other business owners or people who work for other business owners who are entrepreneurs, right? Like when we met at IMP, Noah, like talking to Eddie, who running influencers like the size of Gary Brecka, you know, it's like, how in the weeds should I be on this thing? You know, like when he's talking about like, oh, if an influencer I believe in splitting profits or splitting revenue or something like that is like a dream come true for me. I'm like, if you're just incentivized to perform and I don't have to learn this new stuff, especially since what I'm coaching is not marketing. Like I'm not teaching money. I'm teaching metabolic health, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it totally does. So I actually just had this conversation with somebody at dinner last night who also is like runs a multi-6-figure a month coaching business. And he has the opposite problem. He's too obsessed about all this stuff. And I'm like, dude, you're literally in your own way. Like you are the reason that you're not scaling. Right. So it's the biggest thing that I would say is like, you should know enough to, some people say enough to be lethal. I don't think that's true. I think you should know enough to understand at a high level what's going on. Like for your offer, if you don't know what a good CAC is, like a good customer acquisition cost, if you don't know what a good click-through rate is on your ads, if you don't know what a good cost per qualified booked call is for your ads, like you're just kind of leaving it up to fate. Right. So like, if I were you, like I would know enough to make like, so you understand what's going on to be like, okay, my click-through rate's down. What does that mean? Well, first of all, does it even matter? Is it a vanity metric in this case, or is it actually important? Right. Is that something that's like actively like negatively impacting my advertising campaign? Or is that something that is just more of like a, is this something that like it's actually indicating that our click-through rate's low because our marketing message isn't resonating? Right. And why isn't the marketing message not resonating? Is there really no strong call to action? Is the targeting that we're going for different than like who we're talking to in the marketing message? Like what's going on? And knowing the high level general optimization process for your business and your metrics and the numbers that you need to know. And also to like working and we can also talk after this too, like working with like a good agency or something like that too, like they will give you those numbers. They'll be like, hey man, like for the metrics to make sense for your business, we need a customer acquisition cost at least this number. Like for your front end offer, like, we're a bit more constrained because after your sales commissions and everything, like we need to make at least this ROAS, especially where your offer is a little bit lower ticket. Like you need to have a specific ROAS for that. Right. So it's like knowing enough about the marketing to like have a high level understanding of what's going on. But like, dude, like I do not touch our client ad accounts at all. I'm terrified. I literally went to go check on one metric. I was just looking like what our daily budget was for a client today. I'm literally sitting there on my, I don't even like want to go into the actual dashboard. I'm sitting there on my mobile app because it's harder to optimize in there. And it's hard to screw things up. And I'm like, like, okay, cool. Daily budget, close the app. I don't even want to touch that. Right. Cause like, that is not like, if somebody was like, hey, my ad account's not performing, could I go in and actually like tweak it? Sure. Like I could optimize campaigns. Like I know what all the metrics are. I know how to use like the dashboards, but like Markov is just a million times better than me at it. Right. So like I can go into the ad accounts and read what's going on. I can be like, dude, like, based on okay, our cost per lead is this, just rose over the past few days. Like we should probably start split testing some new ad creatives or new ad variations or just hook variations just to like lower the CPL. Like I know like what to do, but like when it comes to actually managing and all the technical stuff, like I don't even want to touch it. So like things too, especially if you have good marketers or good ad people. Mustafa, man, thanks for hopping on, man. But if you have good marketing and ad people, like, dude, like for example, you have a fat email list, like, dude, before you even touch paid, I would just milk the shit out of that. And then not only that, you can use that, or is that email list like all like people who are either past customers or like really high potential to become customers?
Yeah, for sure. It's a mix of both, but like, cause I have a list for the supplement side of things. I have a list for people who bought info products and then just opt-ins, like tens of thousands of opt-ins. Like,
dude, I mean, low hanging fruit, like you could run a lookalike campaign where you literally just give your entire email list to like Facebook, for example. You want to go, hey, here's all the people. Facebook goes, yeah, we already know who they are. Right. So you just give them the email list and you go, find me people similar to these people. So what it's now going to do is like take the associated, and this is like where like a lot of tech shit starts happening, but it's going to take like, okay, Joe Schmo at gmail.com. Like this is their pixel. This is like the categories they fall under for interests. We're going to take all the people that are very similar to Joe Schmo and start running our ads in front of that person. Right. So you
I know all that. And that you answered my question for sure. Because like everything you just talked about, I understand all of it from soft metrics, everything. I know the exact dollar amount we need for our sales call funnel to scale. I've run lookalike audiences myself. So like anything that I'm currently hiring people to do, I've done myself.
Perfect.
So I think I'm like at a place where I'm like, yeah, I think I need to back out of this thing and just kind of let other people manage that. But I am definitely aware of the high level of what's going on, you know?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, dude, what it comes down to is like, what's the highest leverage activity? And that's good to hear that because I know you've been running ads for a while now. And like you gave me your metrics before, but like the fact that you already have that knowledge on those metrics, like, dude, that's huge. Like, so the first thing I would look at is like, what is your, like, what is the highest leverage thing for you to do? Like, is it getting on like partnership calls? Like, is getting on a partnership call with somebody that can land like a massive like influencer JV-esque style deal that's going to generate like, you know, potentially $500,000 in a weekend? Is that higher leverage use of your time, or you literally media buying for an ad campaign that might generate $200,000 that month? Right? It's like where, what is your highest leverage of activity? And also knowing your deficits, like you know how to look at the metrics, but are you like a really good media buyer? If you can bring in somebody and like, let's say you pay them like even a percentage, right? Like you said, if it was a percentage, and like, let's say you pay them 10%, but they're generating you 30% more.
Yeah.
But it's like, that's just like an easy no brainer. Now, again, also look like what's the long-term vision? There's a few company like business owners that I know, they're like, everything has to be in-house, nothing outsourced, everything in-house. Right. So those guys, like, no matter how good you are, they don't want to work with you because it's not in-house. Right. So like, I would just look at, okay, what is the, like, what are the, buy back your time? That's a, yeah, Jonathan, I'm gonna let you unmute yourself here and talk about this concept because I've not read that book. I understand the concept, but I think you could dive a bit deeper in here.
Yeah, I mean, if you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend it. But yeah, he basically just talks about how you figure out the value of your time, and then, you know, if it's $500 an hour, okay, can you find someone who can do it in at like say 30% of the cost? Because then your time, you get that much time back, and can go about doing other things that are of much higher value. Is essentially the gist of it.
Yeah. That's when I was first hopped on. That's what I was saying. Like Dan kind of saved my life. I'm actually in like his group coaching program, and I just went through like I was like, I will delegate every single thing he says to delegate, and that changed everything. But something you touched on really quick, Noah, is I don't know anything about doing JV partnerships for high ticket offers, and I would love to do that. Like that's my highest leverage output for me, generally speaking, is podcasts. Me going on podcasts, we get new clients. It's that simple. Right. So I'm like trying to maximize podcast outputs. My short form stuff does really well. We always, if I get a viral video on TikTok, we usually get at least a couple clients from that. So for me, it's like, if I can create content, do group coaching calls, get on podcasts, and now I'm very interested in setting up JV deals, then I think like the sky's the limit because I have a great team.
And like the thing is, like, you need to be present for everything you just mentioned, being on a podcast, doing a JV deal, filming short form content. If that's like the highest leverage use of your time, that's a massive profit generator for the business. Nothing, you shouldn't be doing anything else.
Yeah.
Like everything else should be delegated if that's the case. Right. Cause like if you know, if you're going to show up on a webinar, like let's say you run your own ads and you can confidently make yourself like $200,000 that month on ads. But like, you know, that one podcast will bring in like $75,000 in revenue. If you book out 4 podcasts a month, what is that, like $280 in revenue or 280K? Like it surpasses the amount of money or the amount of money that you'd spend just doing your own media buying. Right. So it's like, and dude, JV deals are great. Like what I would literally do is just find people who are in like parallel niches that like that have your ICP, but aren't a direct competitor. And literally just like, hey, can I run like I have a huge email list. You can run to my email list. I'll run to your email list, and we'll just like milk each other's email lists. Like you could totally do something like that. Those work really well. So like, for example, like, and you could also leverage, like you could like use like your, like, again, you have a few different businesses, so you could play around with it. Like you could get really strategic, big, hey, I'll let you do a live webinar to this group of people here. Like, and in exchange, like I want to run like a 3-day email sequence to your emails here. Right. So it's just like, just think of like, okay, what is my ICP and what are like parallel businesses that aren't a direct competitor that I could just run to? Like, and all it is just literally just reaching out to the CEO, and like, you just get creative, man. Like with JVs, Like, it's like, hey, like, I'll give you like 40% of like, you can either do like commission based, or it's like, hey, you run an offer to mine, I run an offer to yours, or I'm just going to run an offer to yours, but I'll give you like 30% of all the sales that come through from this. Like, there's a lot of cool things you can do. JVs are super powerful. If anyone doesn't know, if anyone doesn't, that's not Paul's chat here. Yeah, I'm a Go High Level affiliate too, by the way. If anybody wants a affiliate Go High Level, yeah, let me know. Buddies with the founders. I'm gonna get some of those guys on these calls someday, or like probably one of the next few calls here, and just make us all feel like tiny little fish. Yeah, but yeah, another great guy to potentially connect with. I'm gonna see if I can get him into like the mastermind group is my buddy Pedro. If anyone knows selfpublishing.com, he asked me if I wanted to do this call from their office today. Pedro is the master at JVs. I think they do like $20 million a year, or 12 or 20, I can't remember, but a stupid amount of money every year just to like JV partnerships. Like, it's insane. Most of their business revenue comes from events, JV partnerships. He'd be a great person to connect to. But again, dude, like, and like, they don't even like, they barely touch, they just started doing paid recently. So they leveraged all that. And then like, do you think that CEO is running paid? Like, put yourself in, like, think about like another like offer. The answer is absolutely not. He doesn't touch paid.
Running his own paid, you mean, like doing, no.
Yeah. And like, dude, I mean, you're in like a similar position business wise, like, like, it's just not the highest leverage use of your time. You should know what's going on. But dude, like, anything that like, for example, even though like, so in our growth partner agency, we do done for you marketing, like full done for you marketing, but we also recently partnered with a sales agency to do full done for you sales as well too, if people need that. Right. So like, for me, like, I do sales coaching for our current clients. As you can see from this call, I know what I'm talking about. I know my shit, but like, I'm still not the best at it. Right. So like, I would way rather be like, dude, you're like a full-on sales agency. You guys can do way better. I'm completely cool, like knocking down my percentage of the rev share to literally have you do all this. And if anything, we make way more money. I make way more money because of that. Right. So it's like realizing like, if you're doing like, sure, if you're doing the media buying, you might keep like, let's say you did like a rev share deal with somebody on it. Like, yeah, you might be keeping that extra 10%, but is that 10% of like 200K a month or 10% of 500K a month? Right. Or rather have 5% of 500K or 5% of 500K or 10% of like, 100K.
Yeah.
So it's like, just realizing like, can somebody do this better and make me more money? And like, as long as you're not giving away like so much of the business, even then though, dude, like, I think GHL has like 6 co-founders, like, and like, they have a $1.2 billion valuation, right? Like, I guarantee you all those guys were completely cool giving it up. Instead of being a couple $100 million company, to be a $1.2 billion company. Right. So like, yeah, like, so like, I would just look at like, if I delegate this, will it make me richer? And if so, like, no brainer. Right. So, yeah. So I hope that was helpful. I know there's kind of like a lot of different perspectives.
No, it's super helpful. Yeah. It's validating too for my plan. Like that night when I was hanging out with Eddie had audited my brand already. We were like considering working together. And he's like, the number one thing you could do right now is 3 to 4 hours of content a day, period. It's the only thing you should be doing. Like, your face in front of people. Go. That's your job. I was like, okay, cool.
Have you been implementing on that too?
Yeah. Well, first I've started putting systems in place so I could, which is like the last month has been onboarding this new EA and getting helpers, video editors and all the things. So like, I now have like a full team from EA to, media buying and sales. So it's like, now that the team's there, yeah, the goal is like, that's all I want to do.
All right, man. Awesome. So you feel like this answered your question?
Yeah, for sure. Super helpful.
Awesome, man. Anyone who doesn't know Justin is just one of the most like genuine guys you'll ever meet. Met Justin recently and had a very short conversation. Like, this is just one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. So
right back at you, brother. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Awesome, guys. Well, that's time. It's we're 12 minutes over. I appreciate we still have 23 people who stayed to the very end of this. I know it's late. Fabio, I didn't see you in here, man. What's going on? Good to see you. Fabio is a savage appointment setter and just genuine, awesome guy. From the Northeast here as well too, representing the Northeast.
Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Yeah, Fabio's the man. Awesome, everybody. Well, with that said, I dropped the link. I'll drop it again to the Telegram group that I started. This is just a general Telegram group that if anybody wants to join in and just connect with each other, feel free to like go ahead and drop your Instagram. Only rule I have in the masterminds is just don't pitch, right? Like, just don't go in there and be like, hey, like, this is my job. This is what I do. Like, hire me. Like, don't be weird. Just be cool and connect with people. So yeah, there's gonna be business owners in here. Like, business owners, if you're looking for like, hey, I need a setter or sales rep, feel free to just tap into this too and be like, hey, setters and sales reps. I'm hiring for this role, and vice versa too. Like, just go ahead and connect with each other. A lot of awesome, genuine people in here. Trying to find the link. I dropped it a while ago and it looks like it got buried very quickly with all the value that's been dropped here in the chat. There it is. But yeah, awesome, everybody. Well, thank you again for everyone hopping on. My goal here is to just keep hosting these every single week and just drop as much value to everybody as humanly possible. I want everyone to walk away with this and just every single week, whether you're a business owner, appointment setter, sales rep, operations person, fulfillment person, CSM, whatever, and just walk away and just be like, this was just super valuable. I learned a lot, got new perspective. So yeah, I hope everyone found this valuable. And we'll be hosting this again next week, same time. I will just keep adding everyone here to the invite. If you hated this, go ahead and let me know and I'll remove you from it. That would be sad, but be good feedback. But yeah, so awesome, guys. Thank you all for hopping on, and we'll see you all next week. I'll give everyone here a second if they want to also drop any sort of like value or anything, or like drop your Instagram to connect with each other. If you want to get some free followers, you got like 21 free followers sitting right in front of you. So yeah, guys, feel free to, I'll give everyone here a minute to disconnect. It'd be easier if you also grab your Instagram link as well too. Actually, that might just take a while for everyone, but yeah, I'll give everyone here a minute just to connect. Also too, I realized I never dropped my stuff. I feel like I'm connected with most of you anyway, but if anyone doesn't know, it's just Noah Friedman, same name you see here. Justin, no problem, man. No problem at all. This has been a great experience. Cullen, appreciate you hopping on here, man, dropping some value. Liam, you're the man. You got a cool voice too. Co-worked with Liam the other day and I couldn't get any work done. Yeah, Mohammed, man, thank you for hopping on. Melina, sitting here looking to land a role. Awesome. Melina, I'll reach out to me on Telegram after this too. I have a group interview going on Saturday for this Friday or tomorrow for a female founded like nurse financial coaching offer. They're looking for a super badass setter. So yeah, go ahead and just hit me up after this. You can hit me up on Instagram too, and I'll get you added to that group interview invite. Can't promise you a job, but I can promise you the interview. So cool. Let me see here. Awesome. Mustafa, man, thank you for hopping on. Jonathan, Sam, Carrie. Let me see who else we got here.
I learned so much. Thank you guys. This was awesome.
Dude, appreciate it, man. Yeah. That's what it's all about. I just want to make sure everyone walks away with this going, damn, that was actually super valuable and got to learn a bunch of new perspectives. So any feedback here too, any positive, negative feedback, anything that you guys would do differently, anything you think could improve this? We'd love to get some quick thoughts on this before we wrap up here.
Yeah.
I think it was perfect. It went excellent. So much knowledge was dropped, so many insights. Yeah.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, for me, I like the mix of people. I like that it's kind of everyone from different backgrounds as well. What I'd say too, you've got an extra member. Definitely Alex would love to be on this as well, dropping some value. He got caught in the hurricane this week. Otherwise, I'd have suggested to invite him today. But yeah, super, super useful. Thank you.
And he wasn't on because of a hurricane, dude.
I know, excuses, right?
Yeah, no, Cullen was I think Cullen was actually driving through a hurricane earlier on this call, dude. So no excuse. No, I'm just kidding. No, dude, definitely have a and one thing I want to start doing too is spotlighting people. So like different entrepreneurs that I know are top closers or top setters, like people who are in top positions, and just like let them just pick brain and just let people ask specific questions. The hurricane objection, dude. I've never got a hurricane objection. I'd actually just say I hope you get home safe, and please call me when you get home safe. Yeah, I probably wouldn't dig too deep into that one, but yeah, so awesome. No, I'm glad this was super helpful. Sam, definitely have him on hop on next time too, and we'll be connecting. I know you talked to him as well too. We'll connect about all the cool software stuff sometime this week or next week or whatever. But yeah, man, that'd be awesome to jam out.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. All right. Well, sounds like no one gave me positive or negative feedback, so I'll assume this was incredibly mid. No, I know. I'm glad everyone got a lot of value today. Again, let's make sure to connect. Vance, thank you so much for co-hosting this with me. Vance, literally the reason why I chose him is because he's just a really awesome guy. And I knew there's gonna be a lot of sales reps, appointment setters, and he coaches hundreds of them. So I figured this would be a perfect person to jam out today with. And then business owners, can I get a quick thumbs up if you guys found this like super valuable? Also too, I'd love to know like what things that you guys would improve upon, where you guys can get more value to. I know there's a lot of closer related stuff, setter related stuff. So I'd love to hear some feedback there. And then we might also do a private business owner only mastermind as well too. So we can do something very similar to this. But awesome, guys. Thank you so much for hopping on. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up here. Thank you for staying on with me. I know it's late. I think Benny was on here earlier. Benny's on Australia, which is crazy. Like 3 a.m. for him right now. So Everyone, thank you so much. Chat soon.
Thanks.
Peace.